Trump's claim that the U.S. military devastated Iran's nuclear sites. CIA Director Ratcliffe and National Intelligence Director Gabbard say the latest intelligence confirms the annihilation of Iran's nuclear facilities. Coming out of hiding for the first time since the American attacks, Iran's supreme leader is threatening the U.S. with a heavy price if it attacks his country again. Rural hospital relief, the latest sticking point. Republicans try to craft a compromise on President Trump's big, beautiful tax and spending bill. The president hopes to sign a compromise measure by the 4th of July. In the East, where temperatures have soared into the triple digits this week, some cooler weather finally starting to move in. On Wall Street, the Dow futures are up 109 points. More details at srnnews.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
Hi, my name's Neil. I have some advice for you if you've been trying to break free from credit card debt. You can start by doing what I did. Get your bills together and call Trinity Debt Management. Trinity is dedicated to helping people like me become debt-free. When I called, my first experience was a feeling of relief. My counselor was kind, and best of all, she didn't judge me. In just a few minutes, she helped me figure out a plan that consolidated all my bills into one lower monthly payment. This substantially reduced my high interest rates and put me on the road to success. In the end, I saved thousands in interest, and today, my credit card debt is a thing of the past.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-936-5496.
My name is Neil. Take it from someone who's been there. Call Trinity and become debt-free for keeps.
1-800-936-5496.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Today will be mostly sunny with highs near 90 and lighter northeasterly winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour. Weak zonal flow will lead to minimal chances for storms and likely a dry day across the entire area. And if some storms do pop in outflow boundaries, they would be below severe levels later this afternoon and evening. Tomorrow will be significantly warmer into the mid-90s with southeast winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour and mostly sunny skies. A disturbance coming off the front range will bring better chances for some strong to severe storms late in the afternoon and evening west of Highway 83 and in the Three Corners region. Lows tonight will be in the lower 60s and tomorrow night in the mid-60s. And Saturday, a ridge will build over the area and it heats up into the upper 90s with more sun and drier condition with lows in the mid-60s. Breezier south-southeasterly winds 15 to 25 miles per hour. And Sunday, chances for showers and storms will return to the forecast. This meteorologist Chris Romick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
NWKS Radio's Rock the Block. Play the game, complete the fun challenges, score points to collect entries to win the Rock the Block grand prize package that includes us bringing our NWKS rolling radio trailer to your neighborhood to rock the block by playing music and throwing a party, plus a backyard prize package worth all your neighbors' envy. Guess what? We're also throwing in giveaways throughout the game. So start playing Rock the Block now. Text ROCK to 785-460-0790 for more information.
Summer deals are heating up at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Right now, get up to $7,000 off a brand new 25 GMC Sierra 1500 Pro. Or choose 0% APR for 36 months plus no payments for 90 days on select 25 Sierra 1500s. Need more muscle? Drive off in a 25 Sierra 3500 with 3.9% APR for 48 months. Or grab $2,750 select market purchase allowance. GMC Professional Grade. These offers won't last. Swing by Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland today. Online at hurlchev.com.
Convenience just got an upgrade.
Farmers State Bank of Oakley is excited to announce the opening of our brand new ATM along Highway 40, right next to Sonic Drive-In. Whether you're grabbing a snack or on the go, you can quickly access your cash without the detour. It's banking made easy, right where you need it. Farmers State Bank of Oakley, member FDIC.
This is where power meets precision. The T9 series with PLM intelligence, New Holland's most powerful and connected four-wheel drive tractor ever. Available now at Yost Farm Supply. The 6 Model T9 lineup delivers up to 699 peak horsepower with a redesigned cab environment for maximum comfort. New levels of precision technology, including optional dual IntelliView 12 monitors. Stop by Yost Farm Supply in Goodland, St. Francis, or Imperial today.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pestaway in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pestaway today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
Spring is in full swing at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware. Get your lawn and garden looking their best with Ultimate Fertilizer and gear up with Eco blowers and mowers for the season ahead. Tackling a project, they've got a surplus of quality lumber ready for all your building needs. And when the work's done, fire up the fun with their wide selection of grills, smokers, and griddles from Traeger, Weber, and Blackstone. Stop by Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby. Your one-stop shop for spring projects, big and small.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4! It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
There is a benefit to building a team and keeping it together for the length of time. But that does not happen anymore because of the portal and NIL and money.
The High Plains only local sports talk show.
That broadcast school has really paid off.
Broadcasting live on Rocket 102.5 and streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Who's got it better than that? Nobody!
Covering it all from the preps.
Lego Thorson in the corner for 3. Good!
To the pros.
The 1-0 pitch. Fermin drives it into left center field. Game over. Freddie Fermin wins the marathon for the Royals.
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, along with the Insurance Agency, the Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work. Straightaway center field. Michael Harris at the wall. This one he's got. He could not rob Soto, but he does rob Francisco Lindor here in the 85. Soto unloads one to right center field, headed toward the wall, and it's out of here. Juan Soto with his second of the night.
Long pause for Trevino, then the pitch. Hunter Goodman hits it into right center field. Baez coming on, can't get it, get dropped in front of him. Tyler Freeman heading for third, throw that direction, gets over the head of third baseman into the dugout, and that'll get the run home.
Let's see the fly ball to right field. This one is back. This ball is gone. Grand slam, Max Muncy.
Good Thursday morning, everybody. Boy, what a beautiful morning it is. That is for sure. I'm telling you what, it is a picture-perfect morning out here on the High Plains. The sun is out, a nice light breeze, and the temperature's a very, very beautiful 63. It's a gorgeous morning. I remember stepping outside this morning. I was like, geez, this is a nice day. That is for sure. I hope it stays this way. Big day today here at the KLOE KKCI studios here at the new locations in Goodland, the old Pizza Hut. As today we're having our open house. I know for the last 6 months, I would say we've had a lot of people stop and say, stop me, stop Raleigh, stop others, and say, when are you guys gonna have an open house for the radio station? Are you gonna open it up to the public to come check it out? Yes, and we kept on saying, yes, we are. We just, we need to kind of get through some very, we're not a humongous staff, and we got a lot of things. We do a lot of different things, and our plates are very full, particularly probably in the months of April, all the way through, pretty much the end of the school year. And then things kind of start to slow down a little bit for us. And so today is that day. Today is the open house. If you would like to stop by, you can from 4 until 6 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time. We are having our open house today here at the new studio. So if you would like to stop by, you would like to see the facilities, you are able to do so. I'm not going to sit here and say there's going to be a ton to look at. It's not a humongous building like we were in. It's a smaller building, but it's a perfect size for what we need. And so if you would like to stop by and check out the studios, check out the little bullpen / lobby area, the shrine area that we've kind of put together with some stuff of the past and some stuff new, but a lot of some older stuff. You're welcome to stop by from 4 until 6 today as our open house here at the KKCI KLOE studios here in Goodland, located on South Cherry at the old Pizza Hut. For those who have not been here, don't know, it's the old Pizza Hut here in Goodland, just south of the railroad tracks here on the southeast side of town. So once again, if you want to stop by 4 to 6, today is that open house. Today's program, speaking of the Morning Blitz, we'll be visiting with Fort Hays Tech Northwest head men's basketball coach. I believe Brad Shaw is going to be in studio. There was some conversation that his assistant Josh was going to be in studio with us, but then Coach Shaw let me know that he was going to be in studio today. So we'll be talking a little bit about Fort Hays Tech Northwest men's basketball and the offseason that is for the upcoming second-year head coach Brad Shaw. Look forward to visiting with him here in studio. Coming up in about 15 to 20 minutes from now. We will get into some more new. We'll get into some Royals and Rockies a little bit later on. By the way, both losing last night. I've got some interesting stats for that to get to coming up in our third segment about the Royals and the Rockies. Rockies falling 8-1 last night in a late game that had an hour-plus rain delay. And the Dodgers explode to win 8-1 late in that game. And then Tampa Bay shutting out the Royals 3-0. We'll get to that coming up all here in the next hour or so. I guess I'll kick off the show talking a little bit about the NBA draft. It's about the only thing that was on last night if you want to talk sports-wise. If you're not watching baseball, it was probably the NBA draft. If you were wanting to watch sports, it was a great night to tune in and watch something on Netflix or whatever Hulu, whatever you want to watch on. Get caught up on your shows. But I tell you, just looking at the NBA draft and just kind of seeing, following it on social media a little bit and watching a little bit of it last night. And I'm sure there's people that were totally disagree with this take, but I got to ask, I mean, does the NBA draft suck? I mean, maybe it's just because the NFL draft is really good. Maybe that's why, because it's actually really good television. And when players are drafted in the NFL draft, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's because I understand the NFL way more than I understand and get the NBA. I don't know. That's the thing. But the last night was the first round, and I think the biggest thing for me is when you look at the NBA draft and you look at it and you say, when a guy is drafted in the NBA, there is not a guarantee that the team that drafted him is where he's going to play. From the 10th pick on, there were 2 teams that actually kept their picks. 2 teams that actually kept their picks in last night's draft. From the 10th pick on, there were 2 teams. Otherwise, it was a draft and traded to somebody. I kid you not. From the 10th pick on, where it was Malak, the big center from Duke, he was drafted by the Rockets, but traded to Phoenix. And there were every pick from the 10th pick on except for 2 was not that. And so how it's such a weird deal. And I think that's probably the biggest reason why I just can't get behind the NBA draft. And I know that sounds dumb and I may be shallow, but I don't understand. Why in the world do we have to draft and then, it's traded to this guy? Why can't it be like in the NFL where it is a draft where, the the Houston Rockets have traded the 10th pick to the Phoenix Suns, and the Phoenix Suns select blah, blah, blah. I mean, why can't it be that way? Why is it, well, the Houston Rockets select this guy now, and then they're like, okay, he's been selected, but I think he's going to be going to Phoenix. Why? It really is so confusing. I really do not understand it. I really don't get it. So, Jared chiming in our F&B Bank text line 785-899-2222. He says it was boring, and I don't think people truly care. And I'm one of those people. I just don't care because once you get past the first couple of picks, I mean, I don't really have that much interest. And honestly, I didn't even have that much interest for the first couple because I knew it was going to happen. And maybe this all stems from, how the draft is. It's this lottery style where, heck, they pull a ping pong ball out. We've all seen the movies where they do that. They bring on the ping pong, and then they hold up their hand. They've got the team or the number written on there. And is that how the Mavericks ended up getting the number 1 overall pick this year, despite having a less than 3% chance of getting it, yet they got it? I don't know. It's amazing to me. It really is. And so I'm sorry, but I just believe the NBA draft sucks. It's just not entertaining. It's not really that good. It's confusing. So I don't exactly just like the format of the draft. And there's plenty of people who are much bigger media personalities across the country that would agree. The NFL has got it figured out. They have the NFL draft that is really good. And you can watch the draft and you can get excited about those players. You can't even get excited about it in the NBA because your guy could be traded. And pretty much from the 10th pick on, they were traded, except for 2 guys, a guy from France who's going to the Bulls and a guy from Spain going to the Celtics. And maybe another reason why it's a little bit more difficult, at least for me, to get behind the NBA draft is some of these guys, I have no idea who they are. And that's because they play internationally, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're very talented players, but I don't know anything about them. I don't know anything about the international game. So maybe that's another reason why I cannot get into the NBA draft because I don't know. Now, I will say this. This year's draft, there were a lot of guys that I did know, and I am intrigued to see how their NBA careers go. Cooper Flagg, of course, I think he's a generational player, and I think he'll have a great NBA career, whether it's with Dallas or somewhere else. I mean, he's certainly going to go to a good spot to where he's not going to have to just completely carry the team, and get worn down that way. So he'll be fine there. He's going to have a lot of help, so he could have a great career. But besides Cooper Flagg, there's a lot of guys that I'm super interested. I mean, a lot of those guys going in the first couple of picks. I mean, Dylan Harper is an unbelievable guard with great handles and is extremely quick and fast with the basketball in his hands. And he was the 2nd pick to the Spurs. He was very good this previous year for Rutgers. VJ Edgecombe is a freak of an athlete out of Baylor, which they always have freak of athletes out of Baylor. But he's going to the 76ers. Con Knippel, the 6'7" guard, from Duke, who loved how he had all his brothers up there with him after he was picked by the Houston Hornets, but it's the Charlotte Hornets. But Con Knippel gets taken with the 4th overall pick. We all saw how good he was for Duke this year. Ace Bailey dropped all the way. He could have been a top 2 pick. He dropped down to number 5. He was taken by the Jazz, which I don't know if there's anybody that really wanted to go to the Jazz because of how bad they've been, but that's where Ace Bailey's going to go. And like I've said before, he's kind of a freak because he reminds me a little bit of Kevin Durant. Long, athletic, can do everything from shoot it to dunk it. He's an extremely talented player. And then like I said, you just kind of go down the list. There were plenty of other guys. Derek Queen was another guy I talked about yesterday, the center from Maryland. He was drafted by the Hawks and then traded to New Orleans. I think his big man, I don't know how well his game is going to translate to the next level, but he does have some really good post moves. I do like that about him. And let's see, there were Kaspers Jonas, a guy I was huge fan of watching play at Illinois. Him and the following pick, Will Riley, they're going to Golden State, which by the way, He's going to the Heat from Golden State, I should say. Going to the Heat is Kasparas Jakujonas. And then Will Riley was traded to Washington. He's an unbelievable three-point shooter, but Jakujonas, that guy was unbelievable. A driver, a finisher around the bucket. He could do it all. He was an amazing point guard to watch. But yeah, and then, Jace Richardson, Danny Wolf, the Michigan 7-footer who could pretty much play like a guard, could shoot from the outside, could play with his back to the bucket. And then can't forget about, the Liam McNeely, the Connecticut guard going to Chicago. I think he's going to Charlotte, actually. Going to Charlotte in the 29th pick. And Yannick Conan Niederhauser, who was a really talented and skilled big for Penn State this year, going to the Clippers. So I guess in part of the reason is, I watch a lot of Nebraska basketball because that's my fandom, obviously. And I watch a lot of that fandom, and I see a lot. I mean, the Big Ten had a humongous showing, had a great showing in the NBA draft. They had 8 of the first-round picks in this NBA draft. The SEC was second with 5, and the ACC was third with 4. The Big 12 only had 3. And the Big East, which is a great basketball conference, only had 2. But the Big Ten had 8 first-round picks. When you go by conferences, by the way, they win the NFL and the NBA draft now, does the Big Ten. That money starting to maybe flex a little bit when it comes to getting talent brought in there. But yeah, that was an interesting stat I saw. Like I said, so because I'd watched a lot of these teams play against Nebraska, I was just like, man, these guys are all going, and these guys are super talented. Super, super talented. So anyway, moving on here, a couple more thoughts on the NBA draft before we move on here. But Cooper Flagg, interesting stat from Pat 40. SI's Pat 40. He goes, Cooper Flagg is the first white American number 1 NBA draft pick since Kent Benson in 1977. That's been a long time if you think about it. That's an unbelievable stat. The first white American to be taken number 1 in the NBA draft since Kent Benson in 1977. That is nuts. Absolutely nuts. So, not a surprise, but it is a pretty crazy stat there from Pat 40 yesterday. So, anyway, I cannot get behind. I just cannot get behind the NBA draft. It's just not something that I like. I can't get behind it. I can't. Like I said, the format of it, the way it works, following where guys go, they may get drafted by that team, but that doesn't mean anything, so on and so forth. There was a lot of emotion in the NBA draft. I mean, that was kind of a neat thing. A lot of tears were shed in this year's NBA draft. That was interesting to see, which, it means a lot to these guys, and that's cool. Certainly like to see that, but a lot of tears were shed. Nick Clifford, Colorado State's star player. He was actually taken in the first round last night. He is going to Sacramento. He was drafted by OKC. He's going to the Kings, is Nick Clifford. A little bit of a local tie there, or regional tie. So I should put that regional tie. And the second round will be tonight. And there is still plenty of good, talented players out there to get selected. Ryan Kolkbrenner, the big man out of Creighton, still available. Some other Johni Broome out of Auburn, another skilled big man. John Tonji, who I was a huge fan of at Wisconsin, he was phenomenal. A couple more Duke guys with some unbelievable skills. So yeah, we'll see. We will see. But the NBA draft does continue tonight. But like I said, I like this year's draft for the fact that there were some interesting players that I've seen play, and I liked their games, and I was very impressed by their play. I did like that about this year's draft, but once again, the format of the draft, which is a constant thing, I can't get behind it. It just stinks. I just do not like the NBA draft. So anyway, before we get to break, I do want to get to one quick storyline here. Kansas basketball and Bill Self, they just continue to add pieces, and they did it again yesterday. They signed another player to this year's class as they are bringing in center Paul Mbaya, who is from the Dominican Republic of Congo, and he will be ready for his freshman season coming up here in 25-26. 6'11", 260, a 7'8" wingspan. And like I said, he averaged, let's see, he was playing in the under 21 league in France. He averaged around 15 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks. A very athletic big guy from everything I've read. A very athletic big guy. Lots of athleticism. Can really jump, can really move, can I think he moves pretty decently well. Yeah. So Bill Self had a comment on this saying, he goes, we've had a good last couple days of recruiting, getting Cole Rosario, we talked about yesterday, and Paul Mbaya today. Legit 6'11" with a 7'8" wingspan, fits in very well with how we want to play. An immediate impact guy, gives us much needed size to go along with Flory, Badunga, and Bryson Tiller. Tell you what, Kansas is going to be young. I would think they're going to be decently young. I would think they're going to have some pretty young pieces on the floor. It feels that way. Darren Peterson's going to be a freshman. This Mbaya guy is going to be a freshman. Flory's only a sophomore. They're going to be an extremely young basketball team. And I guess I got to go back and pull this up. I don't exactly know who's even left. I know it's been such a while, but who is left from, last year's team that might play a decent impact. I was going to go back and look that up. Really, the only guy left is Flory. Flory played a lot last year for Kansas, and not much else is left. They do have, of course, Elmarco Jackson. He's still there. He was out last year with an injury. He's a redshirt sophomore this year. So he's back. But those are about the only two guys, if you're following Kansas basketball, that you're like, yeah, I remember that guy from last year. Otherwise, they all transferred out or graduated. So Bill Self had to go either into the portal, which he did. He got, some nice pieces. Melvin Council Jr., Jaden Dawson, Trey White. He got those guys out of the portal. But then he's really gone out and done a lot of work with this young freshman class. Brought in a lot of pieces. And to me, I feel, just me, I guess, but I feel like basketball recruiting is over. But for Bill Self, it's constant, and they are bringing guys in. Cole Rosario, of course, reclassifying to be a part of this year's team. And then this Paul Mbaya guy coming in this year. Now, he was originally signed with NC State. Was Mbaya. He, of course, their coach got let go. He asked for his release from his letter of intent. He got it, and now he's coming back to Kansas. Now he's coming to Kansas. So KU, like I said, KU could be a lot like, honestly, if you want a kind of a comparison team to what KU basketball could look like a little bit next year, it could look a little bit like Duke of this previous year. Young, but highly skilled. Have one of the better players in the country. Cooper Flagg was the best player, if not one of the best players in the country this previous winter season. And this year it could be Darren Peterson for Kansas. And so there are a lot of similarities. Young teams, high profile star player, still a lot of talent all around him, but even though it's young, could be interesting. Very interesting season ahead for Kansas men's basketball. I mean, it was looking very bleak, when the season got over, in the months of April, seeing just the mass exodus of Kansas players leaving, whether it's graduation or portal or wherever it was, they said, we're going back to the drawing board. And Bill Self has done it once again, being one of the best coaches in the country, has gone out there and has retooled his entire team. We'll see what it results in here coming up in the fall. So once again, Kansas with a signing of Paul Mbaya, the announcement yesterday, a 6'11" big, very athletic guy, and that'll be good. They need that. They need that with Flory. They need more depth in size down low at the forward position, in the front court, I should say. All right, we're going to get to a timeout. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Joining us in studio in just a few minutes will be Brad Shaw, head men's basketball coach for the Fort Hays Tech Northwest Tech Tigers. We'll get his thoughts on the offseason and all that good stuff coming up here. And, of course, don't forget, folks, today from 4 until 6, it is our open house here at the KKCI and KLE Studios, where you're welcome to come by. We're going to have food. We're going to have music. And, of course, we're going to have a good time here. Stop by and see the new studios here in South Goodland. All right, back with more on the Morning Blitz right after this.
Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio is the place to turn to weekdays for the latest agriculture news and markets. Being a member of the National Association of Farm Broadcasters, we take pride in making sure you're informed of the latest news from the world of agriculture. Whether it's local, state, regional, or national, if it affects your farm or ranch, you can count on hearing it here. Daily reports from Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio are made possible by Farmers State Bank, Norder Supply of Scott City, Cornerstone Ag, and Woofter Construction and Irrigation.
Guns for security, guns for fun, son of a gun, all kinds of guns at Oakley Armory, one of the area's newest gun shops. They really have gun all out, offering a big selection, guns, ammo, good prices, name brands like Ruger, Winchester, Kimber, Smith & Wesson, and others. All types, handguns, rifles, shotguns, lasers, all guns come with a lifetime warranty. The gun shop is in the North New building at Affordable Autos in Oakley. In fact, right now, you can buy a car and get a gun free. Across from the Oakley Pizza Hut, it's oakleyarmory.com.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Kate Thompson with the Anderson Trade Group. Today is Thursday, June 26th. On the overnight last night, July corn higher 1 3/4 at 4.12, September up 1 1/4 at 4.06 1/4, December up cent at 4.23 1/2, March up 3/4 at 4.39, July soybeans up 3 3/4 at 10.29, August up 3 3/4 at 10.33 1/4, September up 3 at 10.14, November up 2 3/4 at 10.21 1/4. Chicago wheat July contract lower a half cent at 5.27 3/4. September down 3/4 at 5.43 3/4. December down a cent at 5.66 1/2. March down a cent at 5.86 1/4. Kansas City wheat July contract lower a cent at 5.23 1/4. September down a half at 5.38 3/4. December down a half at 5.62 1/4. March hard wheat down a quarter at 5.83. On the stock market this morning, the Dow up $100 at 43,406. The S&P up 17 at 6,164. The Nasdaq up 84 at 22,545. Gold lower $3 an ounce at $3,339.50. Crude oil up 5 cents a barrel at $64.97. If you have any questions about marketing grain or would like to talk about risk management options, give our Colorado office a call. John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484, or in our Kansas City office, myself, Tom Pluto, Jared Fall, or Tyler Ghosh at 913-748-3000.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades. Bugs can wreak havoc on post-harvest stored grains. A strong control plan helps stop insects before they start. At Central Life Sciences, we believe in making every kernel count towards your profits. That's why Gravista Insecticide, a grain protectant, features a synergized insecticide with an insect growth regulator, now available in a convenient quart size, designed for empty bin treatments. To help you store smart and make every kernel count, contact Maya Butler at bugfreegrains.com to learn more.
They say seeing is believing, and nothing catches the eye like the 9.5 bushel per acre yield advantage of Revitec fungicide over other fungicides. But don't just take our word for it. See it for yourself. Run a comparison of Revitec fungicide. Enter the Real Results Yield Challenge and experience the difference it makes in your fields. And when you share your experience with us, you'll get a chance to win a 2-year lease on a new truck. Sign up at yieldchallenge.basf.us. No purchase necessary. See official rules for details. Always read and follow label directions.
Sports talk that's fast, fresh, and always on point.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
This is the Morning Blitz.
Cruising along on a Thursday morning. Glad you're with us. It's June the 26th, a beautiful morning. Temperatures in the mid-60s, the sunshine. Hopefully it remains this beautiful all throughout the day. Temperatures expected to get up to around the upper 80s, I should say. Upper to mid-80s today. So let's change gears. So, like I said, we're going to stay in that. Like I say, we've talked a lot of basketball already in this show, so why don't we welcome into the program good friend of the program and, of course, head men's basketball coach for Fort Hays Tech Northwest. That would be Brad Child. Joins us. Morning, Coach. How are we doing today?
Morning, Ross. Great to be here. I'm doing well in sunny Goodland.
Yeah. You doing a weather report for us there?
That's it.
Let's go to Brad Shaw with our weather report. It's sunny.
That's
It's a great day.
Good chance of wind.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yep.
You got to be so thankful you play basketball. You don't have to be impacted by wind there.
That's what I've always said. It's great to be indoors because the game is on, right? Just got to make sure that the lights are working. No one breaks the rim.
That's true. That's very, very true. Hey, how's the summer been? I'm guessing pretty fast. I'm guessing. How has that been?
It does go quick. It's nice to have a little break, right? Because the season can be long and strenuous, but it's a blast to just step away a little bit, have the gym all to myself. I like peace and quiet, but it's also a great time to just recoup and get the team ready to roll for next year.
I was wondering, looking, if you had that little bit of time to step away, and sit there with your own kind of thoughts, what were your thoughts on your number one? I mean, it was a roller coaster of a season. I mean, starting off pretty cold, really couldn't find a way to get that first win. And then after the Christmas, kind of right before the Christmas break and going into after that, you guys really found your footing and made a great push down the stretch. Just kind of what were your thoughts looking back and reflecting on that first season here?
100%. The beginning of the year, so many dogfights that we just couldn't get over the hump. We played well, just not enough winning plays. And then we got really close at Pratt, and we just knew we were going to take that next step at Seward. And then we were one of the hotter teams second half. It was us, Cowley, Barton. We were the three hottest teams in the league, and we just kind of got it rolling, got our confidence and our swagger, and it was a lot of fun.
What were a couple of the biggest things that you learned from that year one that you hope to apply here in year two in the coming years?
Every team is just so loaded that there are no bad teams, right? Because everyone has stud players, and the coaches in this league are extremely tough, and every night's a battle. It doesn't really matter what you did the night before. You got to clean the slate and be ready to roll, and you got to stay healthy as well. We learned down the stretch, we not having Drees and Terrence, and there's no excuse because every team has injuries, but to be healthy at the stretch run is big time important.
Brad Shaw is our guest here in studio. Fort Hays Tech, Northwest Tech Tiger men basketball coach. Once again, kind of like a roller coaster season last year, but resulted in a strong finish. What kind of happens after the season is over? What is that process like for the coaches, talking to players, exit meetings? What is that all like from the perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I hope to do more of this year is get more of the guys out for track. I feel like I want them to keep doing something team-oriented, the ability to get out and continue to represent the college. I think that's really important. I want them to do more of that this upcoming year. But
did you have a lot of guys that do that?
Not as many. Nope. This year, though, we'll get some guys already locked in to do track. So I'm excited about that. I want them to just keep it moving, stay athletic, and continue to meet more people on campus, honestly, build those relationships. But in the springtime, it's really about we'll bring in a lot of kids to visit campus, and then we'll play open gym and workouts and weights and everything. But it's really just time to hunk it down and hit the books, right? A lot of guys got to finish strong in a classroom. That is probably the most important thing.
Of the guys that, you had for that first year, I mean, are we going to see some guys returning here for year number two, or are we kind of to an extent also starting over like a lot of basketball teams do across all different levels?
Yes. As you know, in JUCO, it is constant change at the JUCO level, but it will be nice to at least have a few guys back that played, right? Q Dixon, he's going to be back. He's got an opportunity to lead the league in block shots. He's going to be really exciting to have back. And then DeKing Smith, he's a terrific shooter. He's going to be back. Josiah Shields, he really showed some flashes there at the end of the season with his speed. He's going to be back. And then we're really excited about some of the red shirts that stayed with us that are going to be back and at least know the system and know the league, right? Because you got to be able to see it firsthand. And then we've added some good pieces, and we can't wait to get it rocking.
Yeah, you talked into that about recruiting. Recruiting. I know it's a full year deal, but when is kind of the biggest point of getting guys to actually commit and say we're going to come and play for the Tech? When does that kind of all happen?
Yeah, I'd say actually late in the springtime is really important to lock some guys in, because there's a lot of hoop dreamers out there that want to find the best deal or find wherever they think they should be going, this and that. But then again, there's also some guys that Coach Johnson and I have strong relationships with that we knew that they were going to end up coming here, and we can't wait to have them on board for this upcoming season.
Do you have like a certain spot that you guys like to go recruit? You know, you have a hotbed or something like that, or, you know, a connection of coaches in a certain town. Do you guys have those spots, or is it, or what is kind of your recruiting blueprint?
Yeah, it is a good mix. For Coach Johnson, his strongest state is Arizona. We actually have a couple kids from Arizona coming in that we can't wait to see at the Max. That'll be a lot of fun. For me, obviously, I always keep tabs in the upper Midwest, so the North Dakota, Minnesota area. I do believe we have some strong players coming in from that area. And then I always keep tabs with the Lincoln area. And we have KG Gotwich that's coming in here. He was a redshirt at Fort Hays State this past season, and he actually played high school at Lincoln North Star for a college buddy of mine.
He was a Gator.
He was a Gator. Yep. So we can't wait to have him here and continue that Lincoln pipeline.
Fun fact about the North Star Gators: they go by the Gators, but they're actually the Navigators, not like alligators.
Very good. Yep.
For those who wanted to have a fun fact about that. So, like I said, it just kind of depends on the year. Can you tell us a little bit about this class and some of the pieces that you're excited about for this upcoming season?
Definitely. We have a lot more balance, 1 through 15. That's one thing we're really excited about. A lot more wings, a lot better defensive-minded group. That is one thing we can't wait. One of the guys from Arizona that we're bringing in, transfer from Central Arizona, Paris Strozier, he's going to have a big-time season for us. He was a factor at his previous school. And then we're looking forward to Matija Odasevich. He's a post player, transferred from Division II University of Mary up in the NSIC, arguably the best league for Division II basketball in the country. And I really think he's going to bring some girth for us and bang around with some of the big boys in this league. So we're really excited about those two guys because they're bringing in some basketball experience, but there's a ton of other pieces, some really intriguing wings. And that's what we love, is there's going to be some surprises, and we can't wait to see who will be those guys.
When you're recruiting, how much has it changed in your time, you know, as an assistant to where you're a head coach and during your 10 years of other coaching experiences? How much has it changed just in the last handful of years? Because I'm guessing it used to be more along the lines of, well, we're going to go into the high school ranks. So we're going to find these high school players, to where now you're seeing bounce back guys, you know, guys that maybe went D2 or, you know, some other spot who are coming back to you. How much has that changed?
Yeah, the portal's a big deal. We're checking that religiously, honestly. And some of those guys are really looking for JUCO because they just want an opportunity to shine a little bit. And maybe things didn't go their way, or maybe their academics weren't up to snuff over at their previous school. So there's always that piece. But the other part that's changed is I end up getting the final say. So instead of having to run through a bunch of other people, hey, what do you think of this guy? I mean, ultimately it's Coach Johnson, myself, let's do it. And so I don't have to run through as many different voices and opinions.
Yeah, I could see that. And like I said, I just, the whole portal deal just is fascinating me, being a fan of college sports, just seeing how it all operates. And how it all works. To me, it's fascinating to me. It's a website, right? Like the portal sounds like this imaginary thing, but it's just like a website, right? Where you can go on there and scroll and look and see.
Yeah, absolutely. I rely on just glancing through verbal commits. I'll go through that website a little bit, and then there actually is a in quotations JUCO portal, you know, on the NJCAA website. So that's another thing to keep an eye on as well. There's always some guys that are you can look and see who's signing and who's releasing, and that part helps us just to know where guys are at and who's available, and some shakeup within the league.
So when you see these guys in the portal, then you yourself just kind of go, okay, search this guy, see him on social media somewhere, or maybe and find his film, and then do a little bit of watching, and then kind of make your decision if you want to reach out or not.
Definitely, and also address what the team needs, right? And we've brought in a lot of really strong wings. So primarily we were looking for best available, who was out there, and then looking for obviously some size and some strong guard play, and really who can check the boxes.
Brad Shaw once again is in studio with us here. Fort Hays Tech Northwest head men's basketball coach, talking about the off season that is. So have you been on the road recruiting at all? And if so, have you been up to the Dakotas and stuff like that? Made some trips up there to make some connections?
Definitely. Actually, I did meet up with Coach Johnson, who was already up there, and that's kind of where we had a nice sit down with Boniface Laurie. He's a kid from West Fargo, North Dakota. We're really excited about, and I'm actually going to go back and see him play in the state high school all-star game coming up in just a couple weeks. So it's always good to be able to recruit and see family when I go home, kind of double dipping. So that's always really nice. But yeah, we've always been out and recruiting, and but you can do a lot on your phone and on the computer as well. So you have to be able to manage and learn the ropes.
What's kind of next here after the 4th of July? I mean, you mentioned, of course, going back and seeing stuff. Is there anything else, team oriented wise, recruiting wise, coaching wise, that you'll be doing besides maybe that, like you said, that trip up there?
Really just making sure that everyone's ready to roll for school. Just the simple things in terms of applying and making sure that they are ready to be here. Honestly, that's one of those constant reminders, making sure they're getting things turned into the college. That's a big thing that you have to be able to do for a lot of these guys. But really the roster is about 90 to 95% done. So there might be a couple late stragglers. Otherwise, we're pretty firm and set.
With that being said, though, how much goes into getting guys on campus and into school? I feel like that's probably a bigger job than probably some people realize.
It is, and that's one of the biggest tests for the student athlete, right? They have to be able to do all these things on their own. I can't physically turn a transcript in for them, things like that. You got to be able to do your work, and I love it when the guys knock things out ahead of time. That's a big one, to see who's getting things done and who are the guys that need those constant reminders, because it's a good key to understand who's going to need that extra assistance, probably in the classroom and study tables.
It's a telling sign of who will be available. Brad Shaw with us here in studio. On a side note, I was thinking about this from last year's team, guys that have moved on. Did other guys, if guys moved on to other basketball opportunities and be playing at another level or another school next year?
Yes, there are a few guys that are, still a few guys that are looking. Happy to share Kalik Sharp's going to Oakland City University. That's an NAIA in Indiana. He's actually going to play for my former roommate, is the assistant coach there. So really excited. He's going to be in good hands. He's going to rock and roll there. I can't wait to follow his season this upcoming year. And then Dries is going to a Division II school in North Carolina, and Fran's going up to Canada, and then still waiting to see on what some of these other guys will end up doing. But really just I'm happy for the guys that have already found homes, and then the guys that are available are still really good ball players and good guys that I know will land on their feet.
With that, how long do those guys usually have? I mean, until the school year starts to get things figured out on where to go?
Yeah, it's very similar to landing at the JUCO route the previous season, right? Some of these guys are last minute and take their sweet time and want to keep taking visits as long as they can in the summer, and then eventually they'll just have to make a decision and figure out where they want to spend the next chapter of their life. But yeah, it's a fun process, and it can be stressful because you don't quite know where you're going, what you're doing. But these guys are big boys. They've been through the grind. They know how to handle it.
Chase Harris was one of those great players for you. Is he still, I'm guessing, looking and seeing where he could go next?
He is looking. It's funny. I would get a call, email, text every day about Chase Harris. I mean, this guy led the Jayhawk and made field goals. I mean, what a stud season he had. But I do think he's got to take some time and get back to family a little bit. Back in Wichita, I do know that that's a big thing on his mind, and make sure things are right. And so he might just end up working for a little bit, and then hopefully, find the right moment, to find the right time, find the right school and right opportunity, and then he'll eventually get back on the court, because he's just a guy that loves to play ball, and I know he'll end up getting back out there.
Once again, Brad Shaw in studio, Fort Hays Tech, Northwest head men's basketball coach, going to be coming into year number 2. Is there anything, like, from a coach's perspective, that you have to do, or like, is there like, I want to say classes or like clinics or things like that you go through over the off season to help sharpen your skills for the next season?
Well, one thing that comes to mind is working camps working camps always keeps me fresh, keeps me in that summer grind almost. It makes me feel like I'm getting after it a little bit. And so that's a big thing for me to work camps and whatnot. But really, I spend time watching film as well to stay sharp and how do we improve things that we can do better at on both sides of the ball. So it stays busy, just thinking about different pieces to the puzzle where guys fit. I could see so-and-so running this play, this and that. So it's a lot of X's and O's mixing and matching, and then let's go do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm sure it's a never-ending job. I mean, it's a 365. You got to continue to keep up on that. You're talking about camps. What kind of camps are you going to, attending or working? What kind of camps are you doing?
Yeah, absolutely. They just had the PGU camp here in Goodland, so I did help out with that. That was a lot of fun, honestly, and get to see kids from pretty close by, at least coming into the max. That was fun. And then I do also, there's not as many nearby, but I do also run some breakthrough basketball camps. So anytime there's one within close enough range, I'll end up leading some of those camps. But otherwise, hey, we're just ready to roll for next year.
I totally understand, Bradshaw. Did you watch the NBA draft last night?
I watched a little bit.
Or are you like me and you don't like it that much? Because I can't get into it that much.
Some of it's hard to follow. I'm actually
so
more interested in tonight in round two.
Round two.
Just for the local piece, there's an opportunity for a couple North Dakota guys to get drafted. Grant Nelson, Jackson Money. I'm excited to see. Even if they don't get picked, I'm sure they'll play summer league. So excited to see where some of those guys fall. And I'm a big Celtics fan, so obviously I follow what they're doing and see what move they're going to make next.
What are your thoughts on the Celtics here over these last couple of weeks? They've been pretty active with moving pieces around.
Can't say I'm surprised, right? I wish it ended better last year, obviously, but you just knew that they have a great squad that just costs a little bit too much. So they had to get rid of some pieces, and that's how it goes. But I'm sure that they'll find a way to slither back up to the top.
Favorite Boston Celtic?
Oh, well, he's not with them anymore, but he'll always be my favorite. It's Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart.
Yeah, he's not even with them anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, I just loved his hustle.
He did play with a lot of intensity, that is for sure. The Oklahoma State Cowboy at one point in time, Marcus Smart. He is Brad Shaw, 40 Tech Northwest head men's basketball coach. Coach, thank you for coming in this morning. Appreciate it. I was glad we could catch you. I didn't know if you'd be around or not. Summertime comes and people are in and out of the town. I totally get that. So
that's it. In and out. That's the plan.
So thank you so much for the time, and we'll catch up with you down the road. Okay.
Sounds great. Thanks, Ross.
Once again, great stuff there from Brad Shaw joining us here on the Morning Blitz. We'll take a timeout when we come back. We'll wrap up the show with a little bit of baseball and get out of here with the walk-off. That's next here on the Morning Blitz.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland, and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
At FNB Bank, we understand the backbone of our community is our local farmers and ranchers. Whether you're growing crops, raising livestock, or investing in new equipment, we're here to help you succeed. Our agricultural loans are tailored to meet the unique needs of your farm, with flexible terms from people who understand what it takes to make it in agriculture. When you partner with FNB Bank, you're working with neighbors who know the land and are invested in your success. FNB Bank, rooted in our community, growing with you. Member FDIC.
Let's face it, many of us plan our vacations down to the hour, the activities, the food we want, and the people we'll see. So why not save our family the grief and stress when we leave this world? Why not inquire about rearranging our funeral and celebration of life? Call Coons Russell Funeral Home in Goodland for their assistance. They've made it so much easier on families in times of stress. Call or visit CoonsRussellFuneralHome.com.
Spring is in full swing at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware. Get your lawn and garden looking their best with Ultimate Fertilizer and gear up with Eco blowers and mowers for the season ahead. Tackling a project, they've got a surplus of quality lumber ready for all your building needs. And when the work's done, fire up the fun with their wide selection of grills, smokers, and griddles from Traeger, Weber, and Blackstone. Stop by Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, your one-stop shop for spring projects, big and small.
When it comes to electrical work, Lore Electric does more. Whether it's wiring your home, lighting up your business, or powering your farm, Zach and the crew have you covered. From energy-saving LED upgrades to setting up grain bins in the field, Lore Electric handles residential, commercial, and ag projects with expert care. And when you call, they'll actually call you back fast. For top-notch service and serious know-how, call Lore Electric, because they don't just do more, they care more at Lore Electric.
Summer deals are heating up at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Right now, get up to $7,000 off a brand new 25 GMC Sierra 1500 Pro. Or choose 0% APR for 36 months plus no payments for 90 days on select 25 Sierra 1500s. Need more muscle? Drive off in a 25 Sierra 3500 with 3.9% APR for 48 months, or grab $2,750 select market purchase allowance. GMC Professional Grade. These offers won't last. Swing by Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland today, online at hurlchev.com.
It's game time.
What time is it? Game time!
You're listening to the Morning Blitz.
Thanks again to Brad Shaw for joining the program. He did mention to me as he was walking out the door here just a few moments ago, he said, forgot to mention that Goodland's own Manny Gonzalez is going to be back on the Tech Tiger basketball team here for the 2025-26 season, he said. So really exciting little local tie there. But thanks again to Brad Shaw. Yeah, we'll see what year number 2 brings for Tech Tiger men's basketball. Tech Tiger women have a new head coach, which hopefully we'll get Tim on here at some point in time. But like I said, the men have a second-year coach now in Brad Shaw. We'll see what kind of improvements they make. They finished 14-16 last year was the final record. But that's a pretty good turnaround considering I think they only had two wins before the new year. So they had 2 wins throughout the months of November and December, and then really found their footing. Particularly late in February, where they rattled off 5 consecutive wins and, really finished strong before falling to Dodge City in the regular season finale back on the, not the rest of the, but in the first round of the Region 6 tournament, I should say. They lost to Dodge City at home 96-82. So we'll see what year 2 brings for Brad Shaw. Last night in Major League Baseball, both the Royals and the Rockies lose again. The Rockies losing 8-1 to the Dodgers. Interesting situation. Chase Dollander was pitching well, and he ends up allowing 3 runs all earned in 5 2/3 off just 3 hits. He was pitching very, very well, going foot for foot with Yamamoto. But the rain came up, a rain delay, but before the rain delay, there was a pop-up on the infield that should have been caught, and the rain was pouring so hard they couldn't make the catch. They allowed 2 runs to score. That was in that top of the 6th, and it all kind of fell up from there. There was a grand slam in the 7th from Max Muncy, and it was all off from there, and the Dodgers ended up winning, going away 8-1. That series wraps up here today at 1:10 Mountain Time on KLOE, and tell you what, the Royals' struggles continue. They lose 3-0 to the Rays, and so 3-0 the final. Some interesting stats around that loss for the Royals offensively. The Royals have scored a total of 4 runs during their current 4-game skid, and they have failed to homer in their last 54 innings at home. Those are the stats. The offense has just not been. We knew going into the season that the Royals were not going to be great offensively. We knew that. There was hopes that maybe if they brought up Jack Caglione, he'd be able to provide a little bit more pop in the lineup. We have not seen that. He's hitting a little bleak 186, but it's not just his fault. Guys are just not producing all up and down the lineup. Even Bobby Witt's having a little bit of a down year in comparison to his previous year, which I think could be expected. But like I said, you want to, once again, I'll hit those stats for you. Royals have scored just 4 total runs during their current 4-game skid and have failed to homer in their last 54 innings at home. Not good stats for Royals fans, and things not looking very, very good for Kansas City here in late June.
High drive, deep left, grand slam, and back lifts his ball deep to right. How about a walk-off Gray? Thomas to the 10. Difference going on in New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes swings it. It's there. Hardman, jackpot, Kansas City.
Once again, folks, cannot remind you enough. Remember that today it is the open house here for our radio stations. If you would like to come see the new facility here in Goodland, our open house is happening from 4 until 6. We're going to have food from Noe. I look forward to having him in with us and having barbecue or having some great food. I think we're going to barbecue something, but nonetheless, hope you stop by. We're going to have some food. We'll have some music. The doors will be open. Hopefully the weather's going to continue to stay this glorious. That'd be awesome as well. We'll have some places to sit down and eat. But yeah, pop by, visit with the staff, see the new studios. If you want to come in for just a quick pop by and get out of there, or stop by and stay for a while, you're welcome to do so. But that is today, 4 until 6 is the open house, and hope to see you, hope to have a conversation with you. Stop by, talk about the Blitz. I don't care, whatever. Be great. Talk about Cowboy, Eagle athletics, anything else. We'd love to have you come on by. Even visit with Raleigh, the most popular man in this building, about the good neighbor round. That does it for our program. Thanks to Brad Shaw for stopping in studio. Thanks again to you for listening. We're back again tomorrow with the Friday program. If we don't talk to you tonight at the open house, we'll see you tomorrow at 7 Mountain, 8 Central for another edition of the Morning Blitz. Have a good one.
Classic rock plays here. This is Rocket 102.5. KKCI, Goodland, Burlington.